Welcome to the IREL podcast. Are you sick and tired of real estate gurus pitching their next pre-construction deal, only to find out years later they were completely wrong? Worried the next overseas conference you spend thousands to attend will only be used to sell overpriced lots and deserted developments? Join thousands of other international real estate seekers who are looking for their place in paradise without the sales pitch. Straight from your host, Taylor White.
Hey, real estate seeker. Welcome to the Overseas Property Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor White. I am proud to say this episode is brought to your earbuds, courtesy of my friends at Home Exchange. How would you like to connect with like-minded travelers, experience a brand new city, live like a local, and stay completely free? Welcome to the world of Home Exchange. Head on over to irelpodcast.com/exchange to get started. I am thrilled to head for our first time to Greece when I sit down and speak with Stelios Archontakis from Homeland International Property Consultancy in Rethymno, Crete. And as always, we'll get the true story on the local real estate scene and have you coming away wanting to investigate its local property market further or cross off your shortlist entirely and continue listening. Right now from Stelios, you will learn how the local real estate market has fared since peaking in 2008 and where his on-the-ground instincts thinks it's heading within the very near future. Better explains the differences between the old and new city and where the majority of locals and part-time residents are flocking to. Provides 3 fantastic examples, good enough even for my sister, and reveals which one is his personal favorite and explains reasons why, and much more. And don't forget, if you're listening to this podcast and want to grab Stelios' contact details, links on buying or selling Rethymno real estate, or any other show notes, head on over to irelpodcast.com/33. Pour me an extra tall glass of Reiki, show us some leniency in my Grecian pronunciations, and get ready to be dazzled by Stelios. In case you can't tell, I'm excited. Let's get Stelios on the phone. What is going on, Stelios? It's Taylor White. I'm excited to have you on the podcast today, straight from Rethymno, Crete, so we can get to know you personally. Tell us more about yourself and where your stomping grounds were before you ended up in Rethymno.
Hi, Taylor. Thank you for having me in your podcast. I come from Rethymno, and I'm living here since I was 6 years old. When I was 18, I left for studies in Athens in England, where I studied marketing and business administration. After I graduated, I had to serve the Greek army for 18 months, and when I finished in 2001, I came back in Rethymno. My father put me in this job, as he had an office operating in the city for residential and business properties. I then started working as a real estate agent in the city of Rethymno, and I have to say that for the first 2 years, I couldn't really understand what a real estate agent does.
Stelios, I have to ask you, we're in March. We have listeners from over 45 countries. What's the weather like today?
Oh, today it is quite cloudy in Rethymno and a little bit cold, let's say about 9 to 10 degrees, something like that for us.
And of course, when you say 9 or 10 degrees, you're talking about Celsius, correct?
Celsius, yes.
Okay, Stelios. And so we can get a better idea of you professionally. Give us your brief resume leading up to Homeland International Property Consultancy.
Homeland started in 2004 as a company focused on the international market, serving people from abroad wishing to have a property in Crete. This means that we offer the whole package, including lawyers, engineers, accountants, and financial advisors in order to offer to our clients the best possible service and a free-of-mind buying process. Our company sells brand new apartments and villas that we have carefully selected the developers. We also have in our list resale properties and plots ready for building that, if needed, we can make the project management. Since 2007, we have a new slogan leading the continuous improvement of our services, which is only selected properties. By that, we mean that our aim is to assist the client to choose which of our properties he likes more and nothing else. The locations, the constructors, the relation between price and quality, and all the rest have already been done from us.
And then Stelios, do you guys help buyers, sellers, as well as vacation rentals?
Of course, we can help anyone buy a property in Crete. This is not a problem.
Well, Stelios, we are always fascinated to learn about which countries people have considered and why. Now, why don't we delve deeper into Crete as a whole, and then why you chose Rethymno in particular versus other popular Cretan locations?
Well, Crete is the southernmost point of Europe and the crossroad of three continents. It is Europe, Asia, and Africa. As the meeting point of different populations over many centuries, it is an island with a unique blend of cultures in a natural frame of astonishing beauty. The climate here is a Mediterranean one with more than 300 days of sunshine per year, which is not the today, okay? And the winter actually lasts for 2 months. The island is full of surprises and contrasts. High mountains dissected by deep gorges, ancient archaeological sites alongside traditional villages, clear blue seas bordered by golden sandy beaches. It is a unique landscape combined with the hospitality of Cretan people and allows anyone to realize the philosophy of living more simply. Apart from the sun, visitors explore the food, wine, and lifestyle of Crete, and then they easily realize that Crete can be their second home. Rethymno is in the heart of the island, in the middle between Iraklio, which is the larger city, and Chania. In 1 hour from Rethymno, you can reach 2 international airports, holding flights in the majority of the capitals around Europe, and 2 harbors with a daily connections to Athens and the other Greek islands. As a city, it is one of the most beautiful places in Greece, with a very well-preserved Renaissance town, a massive Venetian fortress, and a large beach of about 12 kilometers. People live here amidst nature and emotion, outside the code of behavior found in big cities.
So, Stelios, we are looking at a map. We see Greece. Can you better explain where Crete is located and then where Rethymno is also located?
Crete is the southern island of the whole Europe. So the southern island that you see from Greece, it is Crete. Let's say between Africa and Europe, it is Crete. Rethymno is, as you see, Crete in the middle north. I don't know if this helps you a little bit.
And then when we come visit you, do we fly into your town or do we fly someplace else and then either take a short flight to you or else a boat or a car?
No, listen, there are 2 airports, one in Iraklio, which is 1 hour from Rethymno, one in Chania, which is 1 hour from Rethymno. Both of these airports, they hold flights international from other European capitals. Now, not from US, I suppose. You cannot fly directly from US to us. You have to fly to Athens first, and then from Athens to Crete. That's it. Okay. But if you travel from Europe, it is easily.
Well, Stelios, we have gotten to know you both personally and professionally, reasons why you chose Crete and why Rethymno speaks to you. But get ready, because now it's time for us to pick your brain on the local real estate scene. And to get the juices flowing, we're going to do a quick round of what I like to call the real estate hot seat. We'll ask you 5 rapid-fire questions, and you give me an answer in 15 seconds or less each. Stelios, are you ready for the Rethymno hot seat?
Of course, Taylor. Please ask.
Stelios, that word's going to kill me all day. I'll do the best I can, okay?
Okay.
What currency is real estate priced in?
All the real estate, as well as any other product or service in Greece, is priced in euro.
Is owning property as a foreigner legal?
In Greece, the properties are freehold, and anyone either from Europe or from any other country can buy a property legally.
Can property be titled?
Yes, the property is titled in a notary public, and the change of the ownership is then done at the land registry office.
Can money flow in and out of Greece easily, or are there currency restrictions?
Listen, as long as the purpose of the transaction can be defined to the bank, there isn't any problem of sending money in and out of Greece.
And then, of course, as everyone knows, Stelios, my number one question, what is your favorite local drink?
Well, the most famous Cretan drink is chikoudia, or as it is more well known here, raki. But be careful, if you haven't tasted before, look, it is quite strong.
So, Stelios, talk to me. What kind of alcohol is raki? Is that like a sugarcane alcohol?
It comes from the grapes. First, from the grapes comes the wine, and what it is left, it is then done raki, let's say, that way. It's clear white, let's put it that way.
It's clear wine.
Yes. No clear wine, no wine. It is like the water, let's say, the color of the water that doesn't have any color, actually.
And then, Stelios, if you don't mind, can you better explain how you think the cost of living is in your town versus other spots that you've been in Greece or Europe?
The cost of life, you mean in Rethymno? Of
Exactly.
course, it is relatively lower than the major cities of Greece because we are a small city and we, let's say, our economy, it is, how can I say that?
Okay. So it's less expensive in your town than, say, Athens, right?
Of course, it is less expensive in Rethymno than in Athens. Okay, not, let's say, much more expensive, but it is relatively, the living, it is more easily than in Athens.
And then if we're looking at a map again, is your town on the coast of Crete? I know, of course, Crete's an island, but is it on the coastal side of Crete? Is it in the middle? Where is it located?
It is north, middle, at the coast of Crete. It is as you see Crete from, if you have the map in front of you, and the north side of Crete, in the middle, more or less, is Rethymno.
Okay, Stelios, you can now relax, but just a little bit, as you are off the Rethymno hot seat. But it's time to zero in on the local real estate scene. Give us your brief synopsis on the local real estate market over the last few years, where it is today, and then where you see it heading for the very near future.
From 2000 till 2008, the real estate market in Rethymno and Crete in general experienced a booming. The reasons were that the demand for residential properties was high, and also the banks were keen into letting people money. At the same time, the demand for holiday properties was also at its highest rates, and many building companies started to construct holiday resorts and villas that could meet the criteria of the overseas buyers. Also, when Greece enters the Eurozone in 2001, the situation became even better and helped the investors to make their decision to buy. But this trend, of course, changed after 2008 because everybody knows the global crisis, and more specifically because of the Greek crisis. When they were discussed if Greece should leave or stay at the Eurozone, everybody understands that the real estate were affected. The banks stopped to let money, and at the same time, the overseas investors were afraid because of the uncertain situation. Now, after 5 years of crisis, the market overcomes. Greece is definitely into the Eurozone. The banks have started to reconsider their policies. At the same time, prices are better than before, and the demand has been increased a lot the last 6 months. Greece is also expected to have continuous increase in the number of tourists that last season were about 17 million, and for the coming season it is expected to be more than 18 million. This, together with the fact that the government is creating an investment-friendly environment, affects a lot the real estate sector and increases the potentials of the market for the coming years.
Stelios, you have a sold on Crete as a destination, Rethymno as a location, and then initially outlook within the near future. Of course, you don't have a crystal ball. I sure as heck don't. No one does. But that is why I think it's so vitally important to get on the ground insight from local real estate professionals. And yes, Stelios, I just used the words local and on the ground in the same sentence to drive home a very important fact. You are not some newsletter writer who might spend a few days in your town and then send out emails with hot buys, calling yourself an international real estate guru. You are there in the trenches on a daily basis, dealing with local buyers, sellers, agents, lawyers, and every facet of the real estate business. Stelios, break this down even further for us. Pretend you are Google Maps or Google Street View. What streets, neighborhoods, or parts of the city are we talking about in Rethymno?
Rethymno is a city divided into two parts. We have the new and the old. The old city is a combination of Venetian architecture with Ottoman and Greek influence. We have narrow street, small houses up to 2 floors, fantastic restaurants, traditional shops, and luxurious suites. A small picturesque square harbor, several sightseeing, and a massive old fortress. As for the real estate, many investors are buying old houses in order to renovate and either rent it or use it as a holiday home. The new city, on the other part, is an area along the coastline, actually about 12 kilometers of coastline. It features new buildings up to 3 or 4 floors, 5-star hotels and shops, with the majority of the Greek people living there in the new part of the city. Here you can mainly find apartments to buy or rent, and the majority of the interest, of course, is for properties close to the beach. Apart from the city, there are many villages in a close distance from 5 to 15 kilometers that they are great either for a holiday or for a permanent residence. Villages like Adele, Panormo, Roussospiti, Gerani, Georgiopolis are considered as great places from many Greeks, but also foreigners wanting to live permanently in Rethymno.
Stelios, you speak fantastic English. Before we move on here, and I want to know, what languages do most people speak in your own town in Crete?
Well, thank you about that. In Crete, we generally speak English. Okay, the majority of the population, apart from the native Greek language, speaks English fluently. But okay, we have other people that they also speak German and French, but the majority, about, let's say, 90% of the young people speak English. Let's put it that way.
Well, Stelios, now that we have certain locations in mind, what types of properties do you recommend? And first, let me give you a few brief examples of what I mean. Are we talking about buying pre-construction units for capital appreciation that we later flip? Are we talking about buying completed apartments, houses, or office spaces to generate rental income? Or are we talking about buying land to either sell as is or subdivide into smaller tracts? Stelios, give us a better idea of what you are talking about today.
Thank you for your question. It is a very nice and simple, but at the same time very important, and not a lot of people ask. At the moment in Rethymno, you can find all the above mentioned properties with relatively good potentials, all of them. First of all, because we are talking about a tourist destination, an investor should think of a property that can give him back some rental income. Properties like that can be found in holiday resorts where you can buy an apartment or house with communal swimming pools and several other services that you can use it for some months per year and then rent it out. Or you can also buy a luxury independent villa that you could do the same thing. Secondly, it is a good idea to buy plots of land and then sell it when the market overcomes, or build your custom-made house. This at the moment offers great potentials as there are really nice plots that weren't available before in great locations and in really good prices. If the main reason for buying a property is to live in it, then there are also great prices in some resales. For example, houses that are built from 1990 till 2000, they are now for sale in really low prices. Regarding offices or in general business properties, at the moment I don't consider it as a good investment as not a lot of new businesses are open or about to open in the city.
Stelios, before we move on to prices, can you better explain what your clientele is like? Do they normally come from Greece? Do they come from outside of Greece? And if they come from outside of Greece, which countries do you deal with most?
The majority of my clients, as I explained to you before, because my company is oriented now in the foreign market, they come from the Northern European countries, England, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Belgium, France. These countries are, let's say, the majority of the interested buyers that they want to come and buy a home in Crete. We also, the last years, of course, we also had some interest from the Russian clients. Let's say the last 2 years that we have some Russian people that they have bought houses in Crete too. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Okay, Stelios. Now, I'm going to hit you up with a two-part question that I know everyone wants to know, and you have to give us a general range. So we have some price points in mind. Here they are. Part one. What would be the price range of what we are talking about? Maybe give us a starting price point at the low end to a final price point at the high end. And Stelios, just to clarify, I'm talking about total purchase price.
Okay. If, for example, we are talking about a two-bedroom apartment in a holiday resort, a starting price is 150,000 euros and can go up to 200,000 euros. For a luxurious villa in its own land with great views, we are talking about 300,000 euros till 600,000 euros, depending on the size and the construction. Plots of land can vary a lot. For example, you can find one with 40,000 euros, but as you go closer to the sea or locations with great views, you could pay up to 400,000 euros or more. Small resale homes with a nice courtyard or garden can be found from 90,000 euros till 150,000 euros.
And then, Stelios, I'm going to transition to a part two. I know it's very tough to answer, but of course, I'm going to ask it anyways. What would be a general range for cost per meter?
Okay. For a holiday resort, the cost per meter can vary from 2,000 till 2,800. For a luxury villa, this can be from 1,700 till 3,500 per square meter. For plots, it is around 40 euros till 300 euros per square meter. Well, now in Greece, we calculate this per acre. The acre is a strema here, which is 1,000 square meters. So we calculate it, let's say, 40,000 euros per strema till 300,000 euros per strema. And as we have also small resale homes that can cost between 1,000 till 1,600 per square meter.
And then, Stelios, before we move on, I'm curious. As you said that you have a lot of buyers now from Northern Europe, what types of properties are they looking for? Do they look for smaller apartments that they might be in for a short time and then they rent out? Are they looking for bigger houses? Are they looking for tracts of land? What do you normally deal with?
Look, at the moment, as I talked to you before, the last 6 months we have an increased demand from these northern countries. They look for a house to make their holidays. So they look for a house to come and live here for 3 months or 5 months per year. They don't really want to buy something and rent it, these clients. So the majority of them, they buy either a small or a big home for their own use. This can be found either in a small village or in a, let's say, in a holiday resort on the coast, but they don't want to rent it out. This is the trend. This is the last 6 months.
Stelios, this is a question I like to call, what would sister do? My 40-something-year-old sister calls you up, says she has X amount of dollars to spend. You know, you can't let my sister down, Stelios. Share with us 3 examples you would show her and explain why these make sense.
Okay. Well, if we are talking about your sister, I will certainly do my best.
Of course, okay? Stelios.
Well, okay, listen. Well, the first property that comes now in my mind is a small 2-bedroom apartment, brand new, in front of Rethymno beach. Great beach views, walking distance to the beach, and all the amenities. A few minutes walk from the old town of Rethymno. This is very rare to be found and in a really luxury construction. It is 63 square meters and costs 175,000 euros, including all taxes and fees. The second property is a little bit more expensive. Depends if your sister wants to spend more money. It is situated 10 kilometers from the city. but in an area of outstanding natural beauty, overlooking the mountains and the nature of Crete. It is a stone-built villa of 250 square meters in a plot of 2,000 square meters. The price for this villa is 430,000 euros, including all taxes and fee. Now, the third property is just a plot of 2,000 square meters, but includes a building permission for a house of 140 square meters. It offers great views of the nature and the mountains and the Sea of Crete. It is situated in Amnatos. It is a picturesque village and offers complete privacy to its residents. The price for this is 60,000 euros, including all taxes and fees.
Stelios, I have to put you back on the hot seat. You just gave us 3 great properties. Which one's your favorite?
Number 3.
Number 3. Why number 3, Stelios?
Well, number 3 is a property that you can do what you want. It is a plot. It is, if you have to see this plot, it is fantastic between trees, very easy access to the countryside, a lot of sightseeing to see around. You can really build a nice villa. You can make it as you wish, and in a very low price, and includes the building permission. So I think for what you are buying, it is worth it. Okay, I mean, price and quality, it is better for number 3. Okay.
Stelios, we are laser focused on areas of Rethymno. We know our starting price point. We have an idea of cost per meter. We have examples which are good enough even for my sister. Now I have to ask an obvious question. How are we going to buy? Do we need to come in with all cash, or can we come in with a certain percentage down and get local financing from a bank or credit union?
Yeah. First of all, you must not carry any cash with you. In order to buy a property, you will first have to open a bank account in a Greek bank. The second step, if you find, of course, the property you want to buy, is when you go back to your country to send the necessary funds from the bank in your country to the Greek bank account. In this way, you could declare where the money came from. It doesn't matter the form of the bank account in your country, as long as it is in the same name as the bank account in Greece. Regarding taking a loan from a Greek bank, this at the moment is not so easy, but in the near future it could be an option. Now, as for the buying process, you will need to appoint a lawyer. The lawyer by proxy will check the deeds before signing the property purchase contract. He or she will also sign on your behalf and will undertake to deal with the local authorities. A private agreement is first signed between the buyer and the seller and includes a full description of the offered property and all the terms and the agreements. Normally, a deposit up to 10% is paid at this agreement. If the client is not present, then his solicitor undertakes the responsibility to sign the documents. The property purchase contract will be signed in the presence of the notary public and the client. By the time of signing the contracts, the relevant legal expenses are also due, which include the transfer tax, the notary public's fee, land registry office, the lawyer's fee, and the agent's fee. You or your lawyer will then have to give the signed contract to the bank for the declaration of the purchase.
And then, Stelios, just to go back on something you said, do I have to open a bank account in Greece, or can I wire money from my account to the notary?
No, the notary cannot accept money. Nobody can accept money. Even your lawyer cannot accept any money from you. You have to send the money to your bank account, and this bank account in Greece has to have the same name as the bank account in your country.
Got it. So, Stelios, just to clarify again, if my name, I'm Taylor White, if I wire it to Greece, I have to have an account under the name of Taylor White. It can't be a corporation or a foundation or some kind of entity.
Bravo. And it cannot be a common account, for example. If it is a common account, Taylor White and his wife, for example, it has to be also Taylor White and his wife in his country that they send the money, and then they both will buy the property. If one of them has the bank account here, so the other cannot buy the property together. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So you are there, you're in Greece, you're in Crete. There's been some banking problems in many countries throughout the world in the last several years. How do you feel it's now in Greece banking-wise?
What happens in Greece is that because of the crisis, the banks were, let's say, joint ventures. Let's put it that way. So
Right.
we had before around 20 banks. Now we have 4 or 5 major banks in the whole Greece. This helped the banks and to overcome. And of course, they took a lot of money from the European Union. And now I consider the situation as stable. I don't see any problem. And nobody actually sees any problem with the Greek banks anymore. Okay, this is the truth, what is happening here. I don't know how it is, how do the people in America see us now, but here there isn't any problem with the banks.
It doesn't matter how we see you in America because you are there in Greece, you're in Crete, you're on the ground, so you are the guy that knows. That's Stelios, that's why we're talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay, Stelios, anyone who has ever owned real estate can tell you, you need to have a money exit strategy in place even before you buy. It's something what I like to call, where's the cheddar? You are buying the property to do what with it to make some money. So Stelios, where's my cheddar?
Here we say it a little bit different. We say, you see the cheddar, but you cannot see the mousetrap. There are really nice properties that sometimes put you in temptation to buy them just because they look nice and you don't worry about anything else. This can last for some years, but when it comes to selling, you will experience difficulties unless you check the following. First is the location. The locations that have the massive tourism or close to the cities are advised if anyone wants to have a quick sale. Secondly is the price of the property. That should be based in the facts. Price of land, type of constructions, compare with neighbor prices. Of course, here you have to ask a real estate agent that has and sells lands and has properties. The third is the situation in the market. When the market is down, meaning not a lot of sales, you cannot expect to buy a property and sell it quickly. You must have a clear picture of the risks and you will have to stay with the property for a long period. Of course, in this case, when the time comes, your profit will be higher than any other case.
Stelios, you have a fantastic personality and really intelligent, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time to share with us about Rethymno Real Estate. We have heard about your journey, why you chose Crete, exact areas to focus on, price points to look out for, examples good enough even for my sister, a money strategy to purchase, and then what we might do with it after the fact to make some cheddar. Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, share with us easy ways to get a hold of you, any parting advice you might want to share, and then let's say goodbye.
Thank you, Taylor. My name is Stelios Archontakis, and I am the Managing Director of Homeland International Property Consultancy. The office is based in the city of Rethymno at 29 Agnostos Square. The website of the company is www.homeland-greece.com. My personal email is stelios@homeland-greece.com. My mobile is 0030 6948 361915 and the office number is 0030 28310 51341. For anyone wishing to find me on Skype, my name is Stelios Archontakis 76.
Absolutely fantastic, Stelios. I have really enjoyed this conversation straight from Crete to our earbuds, and I hope we can catch up again in 3 to 6 months.
Thank you, Taylor, once again for having me at your show. I hope that your audience found interesting my thoughts about the real estate in Crete and Rethymno, and I will remain at your disposal for any further information you might require. Of course, whenever you want to talk again, I will be happy to do it. Thanks a lot. Bye.
I want to thank Stelios once again for taking us to the beautiful island of Crete and revealing why many consider it the jewel of the Mediterranean. Stelios combines a great personality with amazing insights, and I can't wait to get him back on the show again soon with more specific Rethymno real estate investments he believes you need to hear about right now. If you're listening to this podcast and want to grab Stelios' contact details, links on buying or selling Rethymno real estate, or any other show notes, head on over to irelpodcast.com/33. Do you get excited watching all these real estate reality shows on TV, but then get really frustrated when you have no way to contact them? Tired of searching for overseas property online, only to get stuck in email hell with sales pitch after sales pitch about so-called secrets? Yeah, that makes two of us. Whether you want to hear direct from an investor in Santiago, Chile, an on-the-ground insider from Playas, Ecuador, the CEO from the world's largest house-sitting site, or from a personable and knowledgeable consultant like Stelios, I invite you to join me. Head on over to irelpodcast.com/33 to get signed up.
You have been listening to the IREL Podcast with Taylor White. Be sure to hit up irelpodcast.com for more. That's irelpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.